Bringing your Filipina to your country. 5 key tips. In this video, I will tell you 5 key tips vital to help your Filipina adjust to life in your country. Looking to date a Filipina or already dating or married to a Filipina? I use my experiences around my relationship with my Filipino wife of 6 years, as well as my professional experience as a qualified relationship counsellor for over the past 10 years. Are you after resources, tips and information for a successful relationship with your Filipina and to maintain it well into the future? No problems, just take a moment to subscribe and press the bell icon to get all our future videos, and I promise you'll never miss out again. As your Filipina's boyfriend or husband, you're responsible for making sure your Filipina settles in very well to a country she knows very little about, and there may be many things that you can do that will ensure that she settles in smoothly as possible. I went through this with my Filipina who came to Australia in April of 2014, and really at that time I had very little idea on what I needed to do, and we both learnt the hard way, but we did get there in the end. I want to save you making the same mistake, so here we go with my 5 key tips that will help your Filipina settle in as smoothly as possible. Tip number 1 is to find a good Asian grocery store in your area and buy some noodles, rice and fish, along with a variety of herbs and spices, as well as fresh garlic, cloves and ginger. You may also want to check with your Filipina girlfriend or wife what other herbs and spices and particular types of foods that she would normally eat. Remember, your girlfriend or wife is used to a certain diet, and drastically changing that diet can lead to some very uncomfortable stomach issues for your Filipina. She'll need to gradually transition from Filipino food to the food you eat in your country, although many Filipinos will continue to eat their own country's dishes mostly, but will also enjoy some of your country's food from time to time. If you find your city or town has no Asian grocery store, then a supermarket may have an Asian grocery section. I know where I live, a Filipino guy travels here in a refrigerated truck once a month and sells Filipino foods and condiments, which the Filipino community here love. So maybe something like that may also exist where you live. But be sure to prepare before she comes and stock the fridge and cupboards with the things that she will be able to eat. Tip number 2. Check in your community if there's a Filipino community organisation. This is not only fantastic for your Filipina when she arrives, but also for you to ask other Filipinas questions you may need answered that you don't know. Things to help your Filipina feel comfortable when she arrives. For your Filipina, having fellow countrymen to talk to and interact with will make her feel more at home and won't feel like such a stranger in a new country a long way from her home. There will be Filipinas there she can chat with and learn from about her new local community and get tips on how to get through what can be an initial difficult transition. Remember, your Filipina most likely has never been out of her country before, and coming to your country can be very overwhelming. The local Filipino community will be invaluable at this time, and your Filipina may make some good friends early on who may take her under their wing, so to speak, and teach her the ropes. Tip number 3. Make sure that you've cleared out cupboard space for your Filipina before she arrives. Her seeing you moving your clothes and things out of your cupboard can be a little upsetting to some Filipinas, and they may feel like they're intruding and putting you out. It's just how many Filipinas are. So be a bit thoughtful and clear the cupboard space in advance, and she'll be appreciative of that for sure. Also, be sure to have nice new crisp sheets on the bed for when she arrives, with the bed made up nicely and perhaps a little welcoming gift and some flowers on her side of the bed. Many of us men who don't think of things like that, but they can be appreciated by women, and it will help your Filipina to know just how welcome she is in your home, which will now be both of your homes. Verbalize that to her so she understands, because being far away from the only home she has ever known, she'll be looking for security around where she'll be living, and that will help her to transition from her country to your country in a much smoother way. Tip number 4. Remember, when she arrives, you are her world, her rock, the only person she knows in a country far away from her own. If you stop and think about it, it is a very scary time for your Filipina. She's putting her 100% trust in you, and how does she know how you're going to be with her if it's the same as you were in the Philippines and online? Or will you be a totally different person with her in your country? Some men do change from being kind and considerate in her country to control freaks in his own country. This can be a very big worry for your Filipina, so you need to show her every day that she can rely on you and that you will treat her with the respect and decency she deserves at all times. That will surely go a long way to relieving any fears or concerns she may have around this, and in turn she will then also show you respect and treat you very well, I'm sure. You also need to be aware of how she's feeling day to day, and it's very normal that she'll be excited to come to your country and start her new life, but after a few weeks, when the excitement part wears off, she may start to feel homesick. She may be missing her family, friends and workmates back in the Philippines, and in some cases they can fall into a form of depression. To help her through this, you need to be understanding and kind. Let her know it's normal to miss her family and friends and her country, and keep a close eye on her. Then she will get through that difficult stage and she will be okay. It's different for every Filipina, but this is certainly common and something to watch and monitor very closely. If she feels you have her back, then she will do very well. Tip number 5. At some point you will go back to work, most likely, unless you're retired. But for those guys who have a job to go to, you have to plan things out very well. If your Filipina is left at home all day, every day while you're at work, she will feel very lonely and lost. Remember, in the Philippines, she would have been surrounded by family and friends constantly and be very used to interacting with people all day, every day. It's really your responsibility to ensure this doesn't happen and to show her around town and point out all the different shops she may like to look at. If she needs to catch public transport into town, then take her a few times on the public transport and teach her what bus or train she needs to catch, how much money she needs for the transport each way. This can be very difficult, especially if your Filipina isn't confident or competent in English, but even if you need to do it with her 4 or 5 times and write it out step by step, it will be well worth it and she will work it all out in time. Another good idea is to ensure she has a mobile phone with your phone number pre-dialed into it in case she gets confused or lost, so you can find her and help her out very quickly. But you might be surprised that she'll be working out very quickly herself. Even better, if she has made Filipino friends, as we mentioned earlier, and the girls can do things together. Her friend may have a car and drive her to the shops and show her around the town. Be sure you can give her some money that she can spend if she's going to the shops, or even a weekly allowance of some type. You may need to go through all the notes and coins with her because she would never have seen your currency before. And I'll stress again that having the Filipino community in your area on board will be such an important part of a more smooth transition for your Filipina, and you'll find the Filipinas in your community will be more than happy to help out, which will be a big relief for you while you're at work. You can have weekends together for quality time, and this can be great to have a couple of days showing her around, or even getting out of town for a couple of days or a long weekend, so she can start to see a little bit of your country. I hope that you've got something out of these tips. I certainly wish I had this information when my Filipina first came to Australia back in 2014. And if you have any other tips you'd like to share with the community, be sure to pop them in the comments below. If you're looking for more information around Filipinas, be sure to check out the card on screen now. Feel free to share and like the video, subscribe and press the bell icon for future videos. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your support. Take care and bye for now.